Hey, what's up guys? This is Nailstum, and today on Know Your Role we're going to be talking about attack helicopters. Attack helicopters are an extremely valuable air asset because they are able to effectively destroy both air and ground assets. A volley of 14 Hydra rockets contains enough firepower to destroy tanks, and when coupled with heat-seeking missiles, easily dispatches enemy attack and transport helicopters. Attack helicopters are agile enough to carefully maneuver in delicate situations while also being able to travel across the map in mere seconds. First, let's review the attack helicopter's HUD, starting from left to right. Here you'll see your countermeasure status bar, which tells you whether your countermeasures are ready to be used or how long they have until they can be used again. Below the countermeasure status bar is your airspeed gauge, which tells you the airspeed of the aircraft. Below that is the torque gauge, which indicates how much torque is being applied to your main rotor, in other words, your throttle. The bar across the top of the screen is your direction indicator, which tells you in degrees what direction you are facing. Below that is the roll indicator, which essentially tells you how much you have rolled to the left or right. The arrow on the roll indicator always points towards the sky. The pitch ladder, not pictured here, is a set of lines that indicates how far forward or backward your helicopter is pitched. The pitch ladder can also be used as a roll indicator. The center reticle indicates the middle of your screen and is used in combination with the I-beam pictured just to the left of the crosshair. These two crosshairs can be used to determine the current heading of your helicopter, but the I-beam is mostly used to accurately target your Hydra rockets. The warning bar below the crosshairs appears when you are being locked onto, usually by a heat-seeking missile launcher of some sort. The white lock indicator to the right of it tells you where you are being locked from. The weapon status bar below the warning bar indicates what weapon you are currently using and if that weapon is ready to fire. The side slip gauge below the weapon status bar shows you whether your helicopter is drifting to the left or right, and is used in combination with the I-beam to accurately fire rockets. The gunner's view below the side slip gauge is extremely important, as it shows where your helicopter gunner is aiming as well as where they are capable of aiming. To the right is the altitude gauge, which tells you how far your aircraft is from sea level. Below that is the altitude and radar gauge, which is similar to the altitude gauge, can be used to show where you are when you are flying below enemy radar. The bar to the right of the altitude gauges is the vertical speed gauge, which shows how fast your aircraft is rising and falling. When you take off in an attack helicopter, your goal should be to assist your team in any way possible. Therefore, your primary objective should be to eliminate all enemy aircraft in your vicinity. By establishing air superiority, you are getting rid of the enemy team's ability to harass you and your armor while you support your ground troops. Once the enemy aircraft have been destroyed, your secondary objective is to perform strafing runs on enemy armor and vehicles. As I said earlier, Hydra rockets are absolutely devastating against even the heaviest armor, giving your team a huge firepower advantage and the ability to push and take objectives quickly. Your tertiary objective is positioning your aircraft so that your gunner can rack up kills on infantry while allowing you to scan the skies and ground for enemy air and armor to destroy. In my experience, Hydra rockets are not very effective at killing infantry. The attack helicopter's 30mm cannon, on the other hand, is. Therefore, proper positioning and synergy with your gunner is key to being an effective attack helicopter pilot. Never forget to scan the skies for enemy air and armor, and never get tunnel vision on a single target. Such can result in death. Here's a few tips that separate the good helicopter pilots from the great helicopter pilots. Your countermeasures are your life. Never rush into a situation without having countermeasures ready, as heat-seeking missiles are an extremely dangerous weapon. Also, never activate your flares until you hear the high-pitched beeping that indicates a missile is coming towards you. Most of the time, flaring early guarantees the destruction of your helicopter. Don't be afraid to play safe. If your helicopter is low on health and you see an easy kill, don't take the risk of exposing yourself to anti-air elements. It's better to live to fight another day than to die a brave, albeit embarrassing, death. When dueling another attack helicopter, try to position yourself so that you have more altitude and energy than your opponent. Approach him slowly with your heat-seeking missiles. When you lock on, wait a second or two to see if he will make the mistake of flaring early. If he does flare early, lock onto him again and fire both missiles. His helicopter will be crippled and you can easily finish him off if he doesn't eject. If he doesn't flare early, fire one missile. If he doesn't flare a second after firing your first missile, his countermeasures might be on cooldown, so fire the second missile. If he does flare, lock onto him again, and fire your second missile. Using this technique, you are practically guaranteed to hit the enemy helicopter with at least one missile, no matter what he does. Try to be accurate with your Hydra rockets, as landing a large number of them one after another can cripple your foe's helicopter and force him to bail. Always try to maintain energy and momentum over your opponent. I could make an entire video about energy and altitude in Battlefield and its importance, because it's such a huge subject. 9 times out of 10, the helicopter with more energy and more altitude will win a fight, simply because it is more agile and can engage and disengage on its terms. Finally, don't panic. Stay calm at all times and your flying ability will improve drastically. The more you panic, the more prone you are to making mistakes, and mistakes often result in a destroyed or crashed helicopter. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more Battlefield 4 videos in the future.